No, that did not work. Hello, people. My deepest pleasure to welcome one of our brothers, a very special guest in our midst today. Welcome to my platform. Welcome to Son of Big God. Who do we have here? What's your name? I wouldn't say your name. I think people can already see your name, but I'm just going to say, who are you? Can you hear me? Hello?
I'm here.
Okay,
I can hear
good,
you.
good. Okay, good. Let me do some. Um, I already started, but I will start again. Just asking, who do we have here?
Okay.
The flyer already says something about you, something interesting. Please tell us who you are.
This network.
Are you there?
I can see you. Can you hear me?
Good, good. Yeah. So, I was asking.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Network
can
is.
hear you. I can hear you. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your network is very terrible. I don't know. It's from either from you or from my end.
Okay, let's
Can
see.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead and tell us who
Okay.
you are, okay? Yes.
Okay. Good evening, my dear brothers and sisters, viewers all over the world. My name is Didacus Paul Akuse. I am an ex-Augustinian seminarian. I am from Benue State, Chief by tribe to be specific. I'm married
Good.
with 3 kids. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. There's something that's popped up. We used to hear ex-seminarian, ex-seminarian, ex-seminarian. Your own is ex-Augustinian seminarian. What does that mean? Can you explain for us?
Okay. I actually went to the seminary through the Order of St. Augustine, Nigerian province. I was with them until I finished my philosophy and some in 2011. So it was after philosophy that I left in 2011. So it's been like 13 years already since I left formation. So
Okay.
it's been, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There are different congregations in Nigeria and in the Catholic Church. The Catholic priest is either a diocesan or a religious, and also we have a secular institute. So the Augustinians are one of the religious congregations, right?
Yeah, the Augustinians are religious. In fact, in school those days, some persons will call the Augustinians the social monks. They said, given the rule of Saint Augustine, many people feel Augustinians should be monks. They shouldn't be common religious priests that you see every day. There
Okay.
should be something close to Capuchins or something
Okay.
like that, the Franciscans. But
Mm.
yeah. So that is the way people look at Augustine, especially those who are in the church cycle, those who are priests and are seminarians. They see Augustinians as social monks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a social monk in our midst.
Yeah, it
uh,
is.
All right. Why do you care about sharing your story? Because I was very excited when I opened my email and I saw an email from somebody. You introduced yourself and you said you wanted to share your story. Like, why is that important? Why do you care about that?
Well, two things. First off, I am an ex-seminarian, and anything that consigns ex-seminarian consigns me because I'm an ex-seminarian. That's
Mhm.
the first thing. And then the second reason would be the many, the merrier, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
So hearing from Sean Stiles, you need to hear from a diocesan, you need to hear from an Augustinian, you need to hear from a Dominican, you need to hear like that. You get different perspective, and maybe after speaking to 10, 15, 20 people from different backgrounds, you will have an idea of what really is the challenge, probably with formation or with ex-seminarians or with the Nigerian society, as the case should be.
Yeah.
So those two reasons were why I said, let me give myself a trial and see if I can also give my opinion and experience.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm.
Wow. And there's something about you that really interests me. You are one ex-seminarian that I've seen who, after they left the seminary, they went to the seminary, like they went back to the same seminary to
Yeah,
work as a staff and as a lecturer, right?
yeah,
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, that's
yeah.
something.
So while I was doing my introduction, I kept it brief,
Okay.
well, because after I left the Order of St. Augustine in 2011, I attempted joining my home diocese, which is Makodi Diocese. As at that time, it was still the big Makodi Diocese, from where you now have Kasnala Diocese and Boko Diocese. So, but probably maybe the priesthood was not my core. So, life took me where somewhere else, and I haven't gone one or two places. I found myself back in the seminary. So when I left in 2011 and attempted joining the diocese and it didn't work, it became a very big challenge. And well, maybe as we talk on, I will explain that more. But yeah, I was privileged to go back and work with the Order of St. Augustine as a lecturer in an institution there that they owe, the Augustina Institution in Makodi. I worked there for six, about 6 years. Yeah. So I was there. I started as an assistant lecturer, became the exam officer, and acted briefly as the assistant dean of studies before I left for the UK sometime in September last year. So it was a privilege while I was lecturing at the Augustina Institute. For those who know uh, Makodi very well, you agree that where the seminary is located is known as the Vatican of Makodi, because there you have the Dominicans novitiate house, you have St. Thomas Aquinas Major Seminary, you have the Augustinian community then, which has now become the Augustina Institute, an affiliate of Benue State University. And then you have the Nativity Sisters, they also have a place there. And then I think the Pauline Sisters have a place there. It's not yet built, but they have a place there. So it's like a community, or a community of religious congregations, religious orders, and the major seminary. So it's
Mm.
one would be right to think is the Vatican. Of course, also the pastoral center is there.
Okay. Okay.
Is a closely knitted place. So while I was working as a lecturer in the institute, I had the privilege of also lecturing in St. Thomas Aquinas Major Seminary. Not really long, was because I took courses for first semesters only twice. So it was a big privilege.
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, going back to where you were formed to work with your formators, your, because I met some of my teachers, my people taught me, my HOD, the HOD of philosophy as at that time, Father Samuel Akawu, is still there. Father, a lot of them are still there, still lecturing. So it was a place to go back and become a colleague to my formators. You can imagine that kind of feeling. People
Yeah.
used to be like small gods. Now you can sit with them and share meals, share ideas, have arguments and all that. So it was a privilege. working with them.
Yeah, this is really interesting. You know, since I started this project, I have been very careful because of just being careful with your choice of words. So when I put it there that you're a formator, I had to make it in quotes because this context needs to be put in. Usually, we think about formators like, like the rector, the spiritual director, priests basically. So here we have a layperson who served as a formator.
Mm.
This is very interesting, and I can't wait to hear your insider's perspective so that you tell us whether you people are just so wicked. You tell us whether you people are just so wicked, whether your heart is at the back. Anyway, I'll get to that in
Well,
your while. Do you want to say something?
yeah. Well, I was going to say that in a loose sense, everybody that works within a formation house as a staff should be a formator. While we're in formation, they used to tell us that those unrecognized in quotes now formators are more dangerous than the ones you know, because their
Mm,
reports are taken more serious. So
yeah,
if you are working in the seminary as a layman, because the thinking of any other society would be, or community would be, that because you are a lay person, boys may tend to think less of you, so they may think to express themselves more
yeah,
before you and pretend to the priest. But when you look at it in a strict sense, a formator mustn't be a priest
yeah,
or a religious. A formator can be anybody who is forming somebody, who is training somebody, is forming that person, is a formator indeed.
yeah,
So you weren't wrong, but also it was also good that it was left in parentheses so that somebody don't say, is he a priest? No, I'm not a priest. I
yeah,
am
yeah.
a area who went to work in the seminary as a layman. So I am a
Yeah.
formator, or I was a formator.
Okay. I mean, this is a good time to get into that. Let's talk about your experience because I know I'm picking some things that kind of is shared among ex-seminarians. There was
Mm.
something you said about when you left the Augustinians, you went to your diocese to see if it will work, and it's something I've been, trying to talk about. Did you think that when you went to check out your diocese, that you had this clarity, you were already sure that you really want to be a priest, or it was still another strive to check out, like, were you sure that you really wanted to be a priest when you wanted to go to check out your diocese, or was it another effort to see if this thing would continue to linger?
Okay. Well, mine shouldn't be different with from what most of our brothers go through, because it's not cast in stones where you just wake up and know that I'm supposed to be a priest. It doesn't work that way. I don't think it has worked for anybody that way. That is why it's called a period of discernment. You
Yeah.
are you are discerning either this is the right call for you, and the church is also looking at you. Either what you think is your call is actually your call.
Yes.
So it is just a feeling that pops up in your mind, sometimes motivated uh, by immaterial or irrational things, so to say, that you can't tell if what you feel. And because most times we start this journey as young people, people
Mm-hmm.
who are really young, who don't actually know what they are up to. So I can't say I was pretty sure of what I wanted, because when I left formation, I left shortly after my final exams. My classmates and the other brothers were still in the community, and I left because, in the first place, I took the decision of leaving like 2 years before that time I actually left.
Mm.
And so it was not an easy decision, but of course I wasn't too sure of what I was doing. as at that time. And so I left. And when I left, I was not sure if I wanted continuing with formation or I just wanted something else. So I was in that state of confusion
Mm.
until somewhere around September. It now dawned on me that okay, very soon people will be going back to seminary, and me, I will be at home. It was at that point that I started seeing where I could go. Maybe that delay also cost my chances of getting back into formation since I didn't react in time. Or
Yeah.
maybe not just God's will for me to actually go back to formation. Some of the other things that happen, I won't want to go into the details. So that was it. So when I left and made up my mind that I was not going to continue again, I started pursuing other things. Went to Abuja. I was in Abuja doing security work. You can imagine, from donning the sultan and all that to becoming a security megad, as we call it in Nigeria. Not,
Security is
not
baptism, mega.
you can imagine that kind of thing. Yeah, I was working for Halogen. It's a security agency in Abuja.
Mm.
And then they sent me to a malaria consortium, I think in area 3, it was in Abuja. So I was there doing my job. I would go to work with my CV, hoping that something will happen. And then one day, like that, this was 2012 ending or 2013 beginning. I can't remember exactly now. So one day I was there. Then there was no WhatsApp, by the way. We're still using to go and all that.
Yeah, too good.
I just logged on, and then a brother, Callistus, I've forgotten his first name now. Callistus just chatted me. How far? He has not heard from me for a long time. He was 2 years ahead of me. He had left before me anyway.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I'm in Abuja. He was like, oh, he was curious. Okay. So he wanted knowing what I was doing. And on my part, I was shy. I was like, why would I tell somebody I'm doing Megad work in Abuja? You know,
Yes.
that kind of feeling. So, but something said, just tell him. So I told him I was doing security work in one place. The guy was so shocked. He called me and said, do I know FCMB, the one in central area? I said, yes. He said,
Yeah.
can you come here like now? I went there with my security uniform. Like, from there, I went there. That was how I started working in the bank through the instrumentality of Callistus. And it's important to mention this because sometimes when we leave formation and we 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 are in that state of confusion, it is not just confusion alone. We are still within the shave of the pride of I was a seminarian
Hmm.
and all that. Sometimes that doesn't help us make right and quick decisions that would have saved us many years of trauma, suffering, and all that. I was a victim. So and then it's important to also try to reach out. That was one of the reasons why I felt it would be nice if I have the opportunity to talk. Sometimes reaching out to brothers, especially those who life has is very harsh with, it helps a lot. Sometimes just a 10 minutes conversation on phone can save their life, can give them another option about life, and can change their story. So
Mm.
if your brother calls you and say, Omo, you don't tell I hear from you. How are you doing? Be open enough. If you are hiding what you are really going through because you feel I was this person, why should I be telling somebody that I now go to site to do laboral work in order to feed and all that? Once you are doing that, you are harming yourself, and that pain can last for years, because by the
Yeah.
time you recover from that, the damage will be very, very big. So we need to be reaching out like this program. I don't know, you could add something where people can reach out. People who can will say, I can do this for this person. If you are an ex-seminarian, you have this kind of experience, reach out to me. Let me see how I can help you. And the people who are in need can also put their needs forward so that together we can make a difference, because nobody knows us more than we know ourselves.
Yeah.
We are very difficult people. I like using that word. We are very difficult people because of the formation. It makes us very rational. We want things done in a particular way because we
Mm.
are trained to be like that. And once things are not done in that way, we see everything wrong with it. And so, very often in our conversations with people, in our interactions with people, people tend to see us like people who are controversial, people who present themselves as knowing all. But
Mm.
it's not really our fault, it's just how we are brought up. So, but on our part, we need to accept that we are now in a larger society,
Mm.
that people are going to interpret our position on things, our thought pattern, our everything. So sometimes you need to soften your ground. So softening that ground means even when you know what you are saying is the right thing, sometimes pretend as if it's not the right thing. Just keep
Yeah.
quiet, let it flow, and then life goes on.
Yeah. Thank you. You know, there is so much that we can still do. There is so much. Somebody reached out to me yesterday. He gave me a blueprint of something that has flashed through my mind, like, build a house somewhere in Nigeria, and just so many ex-Americans come together, build this house like a transitional place for ex-Americans who leave abruptly or who even live on their own. Because even whether you leave abruptly, whether you are sent out, whether you live on your own, it is, you are still living with that whole unknowing, that whole state of confusion. So he was talking about a place where people can go talk to therapists, talk to spiritual director, have time and just process what have happened and move on. I like what you're saying. That is an idea of like a platform, right? Where
Mm.
people can say, I can help those who want to check out maybe going to school in California or going to school in Canada or Australia, or somebody who wants to learn work. I am out. If you want to learn work, I can teach you. Let me not take the time. You are the one we want to hear from, so I would not take your time today. So um, you have
Yeah.
you have touched on your challenges after you left the seminary, and I know we are going a long way today. Do you have more to say about like any difficulties you experienced when you left the seminary?
Yeah. So basically the other things are very personal. So the experience may not be the same for everybody, but like I said, the first thing you need to do, the first mistake I must admit that I did was the fact that I was confused. I didn't decide what I wanted doing in time. And then when I did, I was a bit selective of what I was going to do. I would sleep in my room and be thinking like, job will come one of these days. One big job is going to come. I'll just scroll through my phone and see the names of big, big people that I used to know where I was in formation. I will sometimes call or send them messages that were never responded to. So that too didn't help me. And of course, we must also know that the moment you leave formation, people's perception of your person and everything changes. And you as a person must change alongside. If you were somebody that used to think like a rich man, start thinking like an average man. If you were somebody
Mm,
that used to think like an average man, start thinking like a poor man. From there you can start. And then it is key. It's very, very important to identify your strengths, your weaknesses,
Hello, we lost you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Network is
We can hear
not
you now.
stable.
Just continue. Continue so that this my brothers will not think that you are calling from Lokoja. Can you be in UK and you're having this network? Oh my god. I mean, we tried this earlier. I think we just have a general network issue. Meanwhile, while we wait for him, issue of this issue of okay, he's coming back. The issue of delay because people want to hang their shoulders high. It's something that Capito also talked about in his interview. We want to start low. We want to know that it is not impossible to start low. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Continue.
The network. Yeah. So I was saying you need to know what and where you can start from. And the last time you spoke with Justice, you were saying stay away from parish house. Yes, it's important to stay away from parish house, especially when you are not welcome.
Mhm.
You know, but if you are welcome, as a person, I have really enjoyed a good relationship with the church, the priest, both my classmates, my juniors, the ones who I didn't even meet information. I've really enjoyed a good relationship with priest. So sometimes also we need to check where we go and what we say where we go, how we say what we say where we go,
Mm,
because we are philosophers and the people who should understand us more are the priests, just as we should understand them more because we've
yes.
been through the same system. So our thinking pattern is almost the same.
Mhm.
So if you go somewhere that you are welcomed only by men looking at the place or the faces, you will know if you are welcome here or not, if what you are
Yes.
saying makes sense or not. And we should not be making ourselves cheap to people,
Yeah.
because don't don't be too frequent. Even where you are accepted, don't be too frequent there. It's just like having a girlfriend. When your girlfriend gets to know that you are dying for her, you know you are going to suffer emotionally. So sometimes you need to stay away and try to bring something to the table. When you go to see somebody, you are going with an idea, so that even if the person doesn't help you, if the person knows that you are not just coming here cap in hand to come and beg, you are coming with ideas, you know what you want, you know where you want to go. Because very often when you leave formation, you will be confused and you will not know that you are confused.
Yes.
Yeah, you will be confused and you will not know. You will be going through a state of confusion and you yourself will not know. But those who will be seeing you will be seeing that this guy is not stable. He needs to know what he wants to do and all that. So these are very key. The first few days, information very important. If you decide on your own that you want to leave, please prepare. Prepare psychologically, prepare in terms of decision. What do I do immediately after I leave here? In fact, if it is possible, make your preparations as far as implementing your ideas before you leave.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, because it's very key.
There's a challenge on that just because I've been speaking with a lot of ex-seminarians who have been reaching out to me, and also because I mean we have all been through this. There is a challenge of like finance. How can you make a very clear preparation when you don't have like the required finance you need? Like you want to go get a house somewhere, are you going to start something? It's always going to require some level of money,
Money.
or
Yeah.
like some people who will support you, who will welcome you, who will like who will journey that, who will walk that walk with you. So I want to just acknowledge that while it is okay to set clear plans, it might be challenging because of the obvious realities that we have in our context. um I have a question that I am so interested in hearing. You were a formator. Tell us.
Yes.
Tell us. Because I know my guys are here. Oche,
Uh,
Tigoche is here. I know a lot of my friends would like to hear what
That
what
phrase,
is the
that phrase tell
perspective.
us, that phrase tell us was very pronounced when we were in formation. We used to have a lecturer who will tell you to tell us. Yeah. So okay, well, when I started working in formation as a lecturer, as you can imagine, when you go back to schools, if for instance you go back to your secondary school or your minor seminary where you attended, if you go back there, you will see a lot of changes,
Mhm.
a lot of things that were not done during your time are done now. A lot of things that were not allowed, that no matter how stubborn you were, you would not try, that are possible now. So I made a lot of changes. And by the time I was going back, it was like almost 7 years after I left. So there were a lot of changes that I saw. The formators were much younger, even though there were still elderly people there, they were much younger. The boys in formation were much younger than we were when we came. And the environment itself, because by the time I went back to the Augustinian community as it used to be, it was now an institute. So a lot of structural changes were also there,
Mhm.
and lots of because as at the time we were just there, the Augustinian, it was just a community house. We used to school in St. Thomas Aquinas, so it was just a community house. So likely it was only Augustinians that were there. We had three Divine Mercy guys as at the time I was there. So by the time I went back, there were two other congregations schooling there in the same community, because by now it was an institution. It is more or less like a tertiary institution anybody can attend,
Yeah.
because it's affiliated to Benue State University. So the difference in terms of style was there, but standard is still there. As you can imagine, seminary is always seminary when it comes to academics.
Yeah.
So the standard academically is still there, but a lot of things have changed with time, as you can imagine.
So let's go to your experience of, because this is where we this is what we want to hear. I speak because I can imagine what the audience would want to hear. And please, if anybody has a question for Didacus, just type it in the comment section. If you want me to bring
Yeah,
you on live, I think I can even paste the invite thing. Click on this and you should be able to join us on live. Okay, if you want to join us live, you can click
yeah.
on this. No, I don't think you can click on it. Just send me a message or comment that you want to join us and I'll bring you on. If you have a question for Didacus, please uh, just type it in there or reach out or anyhow you want to do it. My WhatsApp is on here and all that. So do it the way you want and I will get back to you. So Didacus, we want to hear as a formator. In a sense, you were a formator. In a sense, you sat in meetings where the destiny of formandees, seminarians was decided. You participated in some of these kind of conversations. What do you have to say about the place of the person of the formator? And I know I had a conversation with you and you told me a lot about the challenges of the formators, so defend them here and also defend them. And
Yeah.
when you're defending them, you also say, I mean, I know you would probably like to say some things that you recommend for the formation system to be better.
Okay. Well, first off, formators are human beings. You must know that they are human beings. So, because they are human beings, they have their own limitations, and they have their own weaknesses, and they have their own strengths as well. And because it's usually a team of different individuals, they come with their uniqueness. Formator A definitely cannot be the same with Formator B. Maybe because of their personality, maybe because of uh, their their perception of what formation should be. So they they cannot be the same people. I mean, the same people. And the fact that formation itself differs from congregation to congregation, from seminary to seminary, from religious congregation like that. It differs as well. The requirements, the desired expectations are not the same. However, there is something common among formators. The job of a formator is to ensure that the product comes out good. The formator is just like a baker,
Yeah.
somebody who works in a bakery. So if you say the fire is too hot for the bread, it means the bread will come out half done. So the fire have to be very hot so that the bread will be baked very well. So that those who will eat it will say, yeah, this person can bake very well. It's the same with formation. So
Yeah.
now, from my experience as an ex-seminarian working amongst priest formators, I would say that very often in 10 out of in 10 persons who are expelled from the seminary, at least 8 have a prior knowledge of what is taking them out of formation. So if you see 10 ex-seminarians that are expelled from the seminary and they tell you that I didn't know what I did, I don't know what I did. I was just hated by one formator. Yeah, there are chances that it will be true. I can tell you, to send somebody away from formation is not easy. Oh. It's easier to admit somebody than to send somebody away. Because yes, there are some ruthless formators that I can tell you to go, and they will be willing to face any consequence that comes with that decision. But you also have to know that sometimes those decisions, one seminarian that you will send away, that indictment will live with you for the rest of your life. Imagine you now as a formator, you cannot face your students and talk to them very well. Your students who have become priests, because it's not just about the ex-seminarian. No, there are priests who still have grudges with their formators. I hope you know that.
Mm-hmm.
It is not just an ex-seminarian team with formators. There are priests, there are people who are priests already, but they still have issues with their priest formators, people who were the formators while they were in formation. So it's not just about ex-seminary, it's not just about witch hunting people, sending people away. Yes, it is true that there are people who will just hear your name and they don't like you. They have never seen you before. They've just heard your name and they don't like you. And sometimes there are information. And only God can forgive you if you find yourself in that kind of situation where your formator doesn't like you. You know, formators have favorite students too, but sometimes it's easier to show hate than to show love. When you
Mm-hmm.
hate somebody, it's easier for other people to know than when you love somebody. So it's a tricky place. I always tell my students while I was lecturing that I wouldn't want to be a formator if I were to be a priest, because it's a challenging task for
Yeah.
anybody at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that fact must be appreciated, that they are human beings, they have their limitations. It's possible they will hate somebody, it's possible they will be angry with somebody, it's possible they will be frustrated by something or by somebody, and they can intend turn that frustration on a student or on students. These things are all possible scenarios. But to think that formators are just wicked people, the way we sometimes portray formators as ex-seminarians, every ex-seminarian will tell you one priest that was responsible for the exposure of, or the reason why they left formation. Sometimes after many years have passed, you will sit as a person and you will look back and say, actually, I didn't do this right. I didn't do this very well, you know. And you will sometimes appreciate your formators for what they must have done. You don't want a situation, nobody wants a situation, because mind you, these guys you are forming are going to become your community brothers, they are going to become your brother priests. So if you don't form them well, if they bring scandal, you are part of the scandal. Yeah.
Mhm.
If they bring something good for the church, you are part of the church. So forming young people is a very difficult task. And also remember that when we go to seminaries, We come from different homes, from different backgrounds, from different secondary schools, with different characters and attitudes. There are some of us that um, uh, are very difficult people in our own ways. And so
You
we
know,
have our uniqueness. And these
yeah.
people are expected to manage all these differences within a space of sometimes 4 years, and you move on to the next formator, sometimes 3 years. As a formator, I will tell you that there are situations where students will tell you that that formator was better for us.
Mm-hmm.
Telling you that we like father this person, father this person was a better formator than that father this person. Why are they
Yeah.
saying that? Yeah, sometimes they see that that formator is often smiling. He gives them time to go out. If you go and meet him for permission to go out, he will give you. He doesn't care about what is happening in the community. He goes out, comes back when he wants, and he's not concerned with the students. And for students, that is the best formator. But is that what the church is expecting of the formator? No. The church
Okay,
wants.
Didacus, I I think your point is clear, and then
Mm,
I have more questions for you. I don't want us to stay on this one. By the way, there's
uh-huh,
somebody who, my dear brother Emmanuel Kelechi, doctor, he asked you a question. I will ask you that question just when I drop my comment. We have
mm,
had several conversations even before this live video, so I know that I don't agree with you on this, and
yeah,
then we don't have to agree. And this is why we are like adults. We don't have to agree totally on all of these points, on all of these issues, but we can have conversations, we can have dialogues. First, I
yes,
know too that in my own experience, it is true, like you said, that many
mm,
ex-seminarians do not say the truth or
mm,
they do the blame game. So it was fine. It was fun for me when I resigned from Schoenstatt. People want to like have a scheduled meeting with me. So I'll now tell them all those stories of how this man hated me, how this man witch hunted me. Nobody witch hunted me, nobody hated me. You know, my story is different. I resigned. It was even abrupt. So
mm,
I know that part. A lot of seminarians should learn to like own up to whatever you did wrong. If you did anything wrong, if you just chose
yeah,
to leave, say that you left. If you want to find somebody who will tell you, you will find, because you have lived with this person for like 2 3 years. You will find somebody who you say will tell you.
yeah,
So that point is very clear. But why I don't agree with you is that when you say that eight seminarians in 10, eight seminarians who are asked to leave know why they were asked to leave. It is not true. Like it is really not true. I mean, you can every priest now, every bishop, every cardinal has done something that another person did and was expelled.
yeah,
So if we want to say that somebody knows why they were expelled, let there be a conversation. Let there
okay,
be a dialogue. Hey, Didacus, I they pursue you because you know the hell word.
uh,
You
okay,
know, so
I get.
so don't leave that place. Don't leave it so open because you traumatize this person for life, and they go out thinking that they are misfits, thinking there's
Mm,
something wrong with them. There's somebody chatting me from a diocese in the north. He refused for me to call his name. He would have been the first person I'll use and drag the whole diocese or the whole VD. But I'll do it well. And I'm not here to find trouble. I'll reach out to the VD, I'll have conversation. If you don't answer me, I'll find a priest that knows you. If they don't answer me, I'll do what I want to do. But I'm not here to fight anybody. It's just that this guy, a week to his diaconate, was withdrawn. No explanation, no conversation. Another
yeah,
person, if you go through all the comments, I don't know if you have time to do that. Somebody was withdrawn the day he was going back to school. Vocation director just texted him, don't resume. It is there. If you go to, I don't know the video, but one of my videos. So I know that I don't know the whole context of these things, but what I am advocating for, and what I think that a lot of people want to see is that dialogue, that conversation. I know you also told me that the Augustinians at some point, when they expel you, they give you some money, to go start life. Schoenstatt
yeah,
used to do that. I don't know if they still do that. So this kind of conversation is good. We don't assume that the guy knows why he was expelled because
mm,
everybody inside seminary is doing something bad.
yeah,
Even those who are like singled out as best every year, there's something they are
mm.
doing that somebody would have been expelled for. Anyway, so
Yeah.
let me
So,
ask you.
so
Okay, go ahead.
let me quickly respond or react. You see these fingers, they are not equal, right? The
Mm-hmm.
fingers, they are not equal. And remember to contextualize it in a scriptural way. Remember the two thieves that were crucified with Christ, right? They had done the same kind of offense, but one was forgiven
Mm-hmm.
because maybe he pleaded for mercy, so he was forgiven. So you could see two people doing the same kind of offense. Maybe this other person has been doing it or has done something else. This other person, this is his first offense. So the formator says, okay, let's just give him, this is his first chance. Let's give him another opportunity. But this other one has been doing it already or has done something else that the formators see. My brother, let me tell you something. To be candid with you, there are very few ex-seminarians who are asked to leave formation that sincerely did nothing wrong. That's just the truth. Sincerely did nothing wrong. By the way,
Oh, God.
priests don't have any spiritual telescope, right? They don't have any spiritual telescope or any spiritual device to say this person is fit for the priesthood, this one is not fit. Nobody has that. It's only God. And that, like what we were saying yesterday, that is why when you are called for ordination, the bishop will ask the VD, this person where you call a name like this, you sure say this person is worthy to be a priest? You understand? So
Yes.
the VD will tell the bishop that we've inquired about amongst the people of God and those concerned with the training, and they've all agreed. That is why they announce bans in churches, so that even if there's anything that the formators miss, the lay people can bring it up. On the day of
Yes.
your ordination, the church said, don't act when you are not sure.
Yes.
So if the church gets an information about a student, sometime, let's assume that I am a final year theologian in theology 4, my bands have been announced, my diaconate, our day for retreat is announced, we're supposed to go to retreat, and then maybe we're starting retreat this Sunday. Our bands just been announced yesterday. The last bands announced yesterday. We're starting retreat by next Sunday. So let's say by Saturday, somebody walks to the VD and said ABCD, and it is a grievous offense. It's an indictment. It's an impediment. What do you expect the VD to do? To allow me to go in for the retreat? The church advised, when you are not sure, don't act. So definitely, I'm going to
So
be
let me
stepped
tell you
down.
what I
Now, let me just go on. So
let me tell you what
where
I would
are
advise the church to do.
you?
Unless,
So
okay,
wait.
go ahead.
I am speaking from experience now. So what maybe the church should be doing is what will not be beneficial to the candidate, so that the church can now call the parents of the candidate alongside the candidate and start telling them that we have gotten a report that your son got a lady impregnated, or your son, where he worked in the last apostolic work, money was missing. So we want to be sure if this report we've gotten is true or not before we can proceed. Is that what you expect the church to do? Remember
No.
the sanity of that candidate, of this student or this seminarian. It has to be respected as well. So sometimes people, because they're they are trying to play the victim's card, they make it look like the church is not being they know somebody who have been to, my brother, it's very expensive to train somebody in formation. Oh. Very, very expensive. So no bishop will train you from theology, from philosophy one. In fact, from aspirants, how is it called again? From spiritual year up to theology 4, and then we tell you to go. It's difficult. That offense must be grievous. Even if somebody claims he doesn't know, he has done nothing. If you start digging, if you call the VD now, I can tell you, just put your facts together, call the VD, tell this guy that, bro, I want to take this issue up. Be very, very sincere with me. Don't make me put myself in trouble. I want to take this issue up. Tell me what you think would be the reason for this action. There must be something. Maybe to him it's not big enough. That is another thing. Sometimes the thing the idea you have in mind or the offense you might have committed, you will think, well, it's something small. Why should they? Somebody has done something big about his ordained, but the interpretation may not be the same. So you may be thinking what I have done does not deserve this, but the person who is taking the decision has other things to think about as well. So you need to do that. What the church maybe we should be doing is when you want to send a seminarian away, like what is common up north. I don't know how far it's done in the east, but like what is common in the north, which I feel is not good, is the fact that sometimes young boys are expelled from the seminary or they wish to leave, and to get their papers released, their degree papers released becomes a very, very difficult thing. And as of the last time I checked, in the whole of northern Nigeria, there are just two major seminaries or tertiary institutions that offer degree courses in philosophy: St. Albert in Kafanchan, and then and the Augustinian Institute in Makodi. The other major seminaries, St. Thomas Aquinas, St. Augustine Jos, and St. Paul's Gwagwalada, they don't offer degree courses in philosophy. And it's a big challenge for young people who leave formation, maybe after philosophy. Even when you live in theology or after theology, you know it's going to be difficult. Imagine the labor market in Nigeria is saturated already. So maybe what the church should be doing is when you send somebody away, please. Me, I was not sent away, so I don't know how and I've not been where they're counseling somebody who is being asked to go away. So I don't know what they normally tell them, but from what I hear people say, ex-seminarians who were asked to go, sometimes their experiences with their formators, the last moments are not really good. So what I would advise is when you want to set somebody away, at least this is the person that have committed the offense. Make
Yeah.
them know the gravity of their offense. Make them understand the need for them to go.
Yeah.
Make them understand that being
Mhm.
a priest is not the only way you will serve God, or being a
Yes.
diocesan priest, or being that religious congregation priest is the only way you will serve God. And be willing, because you are sending somebody away, maybe in the order of St. Augustine, doesn't mean Sean Stiles will not take that person, or doesn't mean another diocese will not take that person. So the offense you see as big enough to send the person away may not really be an offense to the other person. So if
Mhm.
they come for you for recommendation, please give them the recommendation. Let it be the decision of the person accepting them. Either it's going to take them or not, it should be the person. Give them the best recommendation you can think of. This guy was with us, so he was with us for 3 years, but we didn't see him fit to be a priest in our diocese or in our congregation. So that those people can now ask the person what actually happened. The person may open up to them and they may see it, okay, well, it was nothing serious, we can manage it, and we
Mhm.
know you have this risk too, but we can manage it. Let it be that way. And when you send somebody away, give the person his papers, give them their degree papers. Don't start bringing up unnecessary bureaucracies. You have to see this person, you have to do this one. The person is not continuing with formation again.
Yeah.
Already is a delay. There's been a delay in that person's life in a way. So just allow him to move on quickly and give him the necessary assistance. The church, no matter how we look at it, my brother, the priests are better place in the society than we the ex-seminarian, in terms of connection, in terms of people listening to them. So the church can go a little bit more and see that, okay, this offense this person committed, it's not as if this person stole money, he impregnated a woman, which is not good for a priest, but it doesn't mean it's a bad thing for any human being. So the
Yeah.
church can assist the person to start life. Like,
Can
okay,
I?
can we can talk to
I
one
know.
or two persons that maybe the bishop knows, to see if you can be given a job, even if it's a teaching. Let it be that you have been offered something. Then you can even work with the church. The challenge also is that most ex-seminarians see the church as an enemy
Any.
institution that they have to fight, which is wrong.
Please, can I
There's no
stop you here? Didacus,
you said
please, please. I have so many more questions, and this is
no
not a
problem.
debate. I love your
Okay,
perspective, and what you say is true. It's just that it's not like none of us has the complete picture of this, but a lot of what you say is true, and I
Mm.
can validate them with my experience, because when I was expelled from junior seminary for using phone, Father Anthony, who expelled me, recommended me to Schoenstatt. Schoenstatt, you
Oh,
can use two phones. You be in your room,
oh,
your rector will call you. Oh
oh.
boy, they come games today. So that tallies to what you're saying. It goes with what you're saying about like recommendation, about conversation, about supporting the person to go. And then two, there are more, I cannot count it right now, but there are more than 8 people from Schoenstatt in the US right now.
Mm.
Kudos to Schoenstatt. There is something that Schoenstatt did for each and every one of us that helped us to come here.
And I'm here partly because of the order of St. Augustine as well.
Good.
Not directly as an order, but I've enjoyed privileges that have helped my journey to the
Good.
UK.
So
Mm.
I will say it again. Kudos to Schoenstatt. Me, myself, and more than 7 other guys here in the US came here solely because of the help of Schoenstatt.
Mm.
And when I talk to other people, I explain that to them to say, even when you resign, even when you leave, don't be in enmity with that community or that diocese, because one time you need them or they'll need you.
Yeah.
So that is a good point. The only thing I find in what you're saying, because you left in 2011, is that some things have changed. Can you
Yeah.
imagine that somebody was telling me that their formator called them and said they want to do family planning? So they're going to expel some people just because they want a particular number.
Mm.
So they want to do family planning with people's destiny. Formator telling students.
So
Another
that
another person was
that
telling
is
me that a formator will tell them in seat of wisdom, you have to pass through me to become a priest. If I say, like, the human side is more. I know you want to balance it. I allow it. I accept it. Nobody has a monopoly of these views. They are
mm,
true. But some people have the human side that they may need to begin to check, or that the priest in the diocese may want them to check, or that the seminarians may write a secret letter to the bishop to say, this person is not helping us. There's something else you said about expensive. Not every diocese or not every congregation actually feels the impact of the feels the impact of the financial. How do I say it? Like some communities have sponsors that sponsor their seminarians. So it's not like, oh, I paid all of these things for you to become a priest, so I can't send you out. I don't know if you know more
yeah,
than me in that aspect.
yeah. So let me clear these things. This
So,
is
okay,
your
clear this one too, so that everything is clear, and we'll move to the next question. Most of these things happen because of the victim card, you know.
yeah.
So,
So
many people say things that we don't know if it is true, but in my own experience, I've had good experiences. But
yeah.
when I hear stories, I shudder. So I don't
Mm.
know if those stories are coming from what they really experienced or victim card. So this is me shouting out to anybody who said they were expelled wrongly. Come out
Mm.
and tell us. All right, come out and tell us what happened, because
You
I
know,
had a good
you
experience.
you were
Sorry.
saying something about the question. Yes, okay. So let me say this. I've mentioned it already that formators are also human beings. Okay. So maybe another thing the church would need to do to um to become a contemporary church, so to say, as regards formation, for me would be that I observe that some priests have stayed too long in formation, like they have been in one place for too long, and no matter how you like it, it gets to a point you become bored with it, you become tired. And very often the way formation or people are sent to formation in Nigeria, I'm not saying so because of maybe the Augustinian Institute of the St. Thomas Aquinas Major Seminary. I'm saying so because of the way I see it, or the way I think it in my head. That very
Yeah.
often people are sent to formation and they perceive their assignment like and being punished by the diocese or by the religious congregation to go and stay in the seminary because um, you have been information. You know that you cannot compare a formator with somebody who is in a parish or heading a school somewhere. At
Mhm.
least in terms of material possessions, you cannot compare the two of them. So I would want the church to first consider those she's sending to formation. Do this person really want to go to formation? Can this person contribute to formation? Not just because I want him out of the diocese, I want him to go and show he knows book too much, he's first class, he's claiming too much, not let him go and work in the seminary. And it goes also to sending people to go and school too. Sometimes they end up sending people to go and school, people who don't want to go to school or go to that particular country or that particular state that are being sent to go and school. So these things should be considered. And when you send somebody to go and work where he doesn't want to work, there's going to be frustration, and that frustration is going to be transferred. And that transfer of aggression is what you sometimes see projected as human weakness of the formator, where formators can get angry and tell a student to pack and leave, say nasty things to the students or to students, and they feel okay because they are angry, not really with the students, maybe with the system, but they don't have anybody to express the anger with or to. So they express it on the students. So I agree with you that that aspect needs to be done, something needs to be done about it. So the church also needs to make formation houses attractive. If, for instance, you are sending a priest to go and work in the seminary, even though the seminary is paying them a stipend, I don't think it is wrong if the diocese, I'm not aware if dioceses also pay the priests who are working in formation houses, or congregations also support the priests who are working in formation houses outside the normal support they should get. They should make formation houses more attractive so that people who are there will not be frustrated by the environment and by the lack of basic things, and then start transferring that aggression on students, on every other person that they see around. That will also help minimize the human weakness. Okay. Then
Yeah.
when you talk about a seminarian telling I mean a formator telling seminarians that they have to do family planning, I think it's just a sarcastic way of telling somebody that we are in a fix and somebody needs to go. You know, sometimes formators, they when they come with bad news, they sometimes want the students to be happy before they break the bad news, you know. So they too sometimes, really, my brother, sometimes it pains them that this student is going or somebody has to go. But sometimes those decisions are not taken by them. They present their report like it's like somebody sent you to go and work somewhere. Okay. So at the end of the day, you present the report to the person. And I have 10 students. So this student is not doing well academically. Last semester he was the worst student. This semester is the worst student. So personally, I'm not seeing any growth in him. So, but the decision is of the council. The council may say send him away. The council may say keep him. So sometimes the decision to send somebody, that was why I said initially that the decision to send somebody away from the seminary is actually a difficult one. Then you said that some congregations and some dioceses don't pay from their pocket. They pay from their
No,
pocket.
no,
Even
sorry,
even
continue,
when
continue.
yeah, even when if I choose, for instance, that I can afford and I choose to say, okay, I'm from Boko Diocese, for instance, and I said, okay, let me be sending monies to the diocese to train one seminarian. Okay. Even if I don't send that money, the diocese will train her seminarians. That is the truth about it. Okay. So why my money will augment whatever they are doing? It is it is the how should I put it now? Is the
Responsibility.
yeah, it's the responsibility to train our students, regardless of
Yeah.
whatever somebody is doing
Yeah,
or sending.
I think my argument for money doesn't hold water. So let's drop that. I mean, you are totally right on that. Somebody
Yeah.
asked you a question earlier, and he
Okay.
said, "What? he said, question for Didacus, as a lay formator, would you say
Mm.
that everyone who was asked to leave the seminary in the 6 years you served, are you getting a call?
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, deserve to be sacked. Did you witness or feel that there were people sent out of the seminary who did not deserve to be asked to leave the seminary? So this guy, I know him. He's a medical doctor. So he's saying that he's not asking because he was in the seminary, but he thinks that there are people who shouldn't have made it through and they made it through, and there are people who shouldn't have been sent out and they
Yeah,
sent out. However,
yeah.
he later
So,
came to comment. He later came to comment that you are full of wisdom. So maybe he doesn't need answer anymore.
okay, but let me just say, like, it's just like what we are just saying now. The
Yeah.
human aspect is also there of the formators. Is there, is also there. I think I know of one story of somebody who was asked to go, not when I was in the as a formator anyway. That happened very long time ago, where I was still in formation, that somebody was asked to go due to mistaken identity. I don't know how true that is, but this is somebody that when you see and meet him, you will see that okay, this guy looks truly innocent. But you know, innocent appearance doesn't make somebody innocent actually. Mhm.
Mm,
So I haven't spent some years in formation. Those guys, you see them very, very weak and meek. Sometimes are very deadly. If you hear the kind of things they are capable of doing, you will be wondering if they are saying the truth about them or just they're just lying. So yeah, it's possible that there are people who are actually are meant to have been priests, but the hand of physical formators played its part. And again, there are some priests too that formators themselves, priests among them, they will say, I wonder how this one managed to become a priest. Yeah, you. So it's a two-way thing. It's not just about these ex-seminarians alone. It's a two-way thing. You know, sometimes the formator who was their formator himself will be asking, I wonder how this person made it to the priesthood. But you were his
mm,
formator. You know, you had the right to send him away or keep him. And he's a priest today. Or you
mm.
meet an ex-seminarian, you meet a formator who was somebody's formator, who is an ex-seminarian, he will be like, I don't know why they sent him away. You know,
Yeah.
so it's a two-way thing depending on the position of the person. I think that another challenge I was going to talk about with formation in Nigeria is the fact that I am thinking that I've heard this opinion before, even in our meetings when it was necessary. I think that they are admitting too many young too many young boys, very people who are fresh from secondary schools going into formation. For me, this is a very big problem because somebody who went to maybe the person went to secondary school at age 9 or 10 or 11, and then by 17, 18, 19, the person is already out of secondary school, and then you are taking this person into formation. He does 1 year spiritual year, and by the time he's 19, he's already in philosophy one. You know, this person basically have no experience of life. Most of these people are people who have gone through minor seminaries or Catholic schools. They don't know anything about life. They are just most time taking these decisions because their parents want them to become priests, or maybe because of peer pressure. I was in the same class with this person, they said they are going to father, all of us want to go to father, or maybe because they were other boys, they would just want to. So it's something I would wish the church really looked at. If you are going to take 10 seminarians, for instance, why don't you think about people who have gone through degrees? Okay. Again, coupled with the fact that our environment looks a bit toxic for as regards job. There are no jobs. Finding a job is difficult and all those kind of things. And sometimes parents feel this is the safe way for our children to become rich people. I want to become mama father. I want to become baba father. I want to join the priest parents society, in the diocese, and all that. I mean, those things are actually good in themselves, so but the way we go about them sometimes is worrying. You are forcing a young man to take a decision he doesn't want. There are many priests who are not happy priests today because this is not what they wanted. This is not how they view it from outside. Just the way there are many unhappy ex-seminarians because this is not what they wanted. This is not what they are trained for. They wanted a life where they will be preaching to people every day. They will be blessing people, praying for people. But
Yeah.
life happens. They are there. They are here. So it's a two-way thing again. But it's something I would really want the Nigerian church in particular to critically look at. Most of these boys, somebody becomes a priest sometimes 26 years, 27 years. The age is not really the problem. I'm looking at the maturity, what they can think of, the decisions they can make. That is why you sometimes see a young priest who carries two mighty phones, a Samsung and an iPhone, and you are wondering, this one of these phones can do the two things. In fact, let us be realistic with ourselves. Apart from quality pictures, what can an iPhone do? What can you do with an iPhone that you cannot do with an Android phone? Let's say a Techno phone. You can do virtually everything apart from the quality picture and maybe the fact that the iPhone will process information faster. So, but you
Yeah.
see, persons carry two. Like is this one is for WhatsApp. This one doesn't do WhatsApp. This one doesn't do Facebook. I mean, there's really they spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, see, so for me that is immaturity because the rich people that will often strive so hard to live their life, they are living our life of poverty. We were striving hard to live the life of rich people. I mean, you see a rich man will carry just one small phone like this, and they're okay. It's for cause. So I think the church needs to do something about that. Maturity. Even if they want to continue taking small, young boys like this, there should be something else that should be done because you are not aside from philosophy and maybe pastoral experience, which you often don't really have because when you go for pastoral experience, people don't often challenge you as a seminarian. They just, even when they don't like what you are doing, they keep quiet, you know.
Yeah.
So the church may think it's their fault now, they should be speaking. But the way the church is in Nigeria, we are not trained to challenge priests and such, to have opinions that are maybe against what the priests have in mind or has said. So it's something I think the church really needs to do something about.
Can, can I join my brother Dr. Emmanuel
Mm.
to say that you are a man full of wisdom? Yeah, some of the things you touched on were those things. I mean, the first video I made about ex-seminarians is just about how the junior seminary system churns out large number of
Mm.
ex-seminarians. You have one set, they admit 60 for St. John Cross Seminary, 50, 40, 60. And at the end of the day, like 10, 11, 12 go to the spiritual year. I mean,
Mm.
with Bishop Ona started ordaining a large number. It used to be 4, 5, 6. So all this journey you have produced for one set, maybe something like 50, 60, 70 ex-seminarians. So this
Mm.
is like you said. I think that is a very big point. A lot of people who I've spoken with are also canvassing for scrapping junior seminary. Let it be high school, Catholic high school. Here in the US, junior seminary was scrapped, I think, in the 1970s. When you see people in the seminary, like my classmates, I was studying the Jesuit School of Theology. My classmates were
Mm.
ordained deacons last November, so they will be ordained priests in June. These guys, one of them, I won't call their name. One of them is already a news presenter. One of them, like, is a PhD holder in I don't want to go more personal, but they all have things that they were all doing before they joined the Jesuits. And these
Mm.
are people that when I came here, my first year, I was asking them, but why are you here? But why are you here? The light we were looking for, you have it. So they have seen life and they chose. This is the difference between the people we find in the seminaries in different parts of the world and the people we find in seminary in Nigeria. And I want to
Mm.
also submit that, just like I mean, a lot of people have commented, your wisdom is showing us something from the perspective of formators, and we are seeing that sometimes these people also need to be taken care of. A lot of transference is going on, but it is not the fault of the seminarian who doesn't see the transference. The seminarian sees wickedness. The seminarian sees inhumanity. So we have to hold those two things together. But from the perspective of people like you, it is good that you're speaking so that the church will see how to, help make the seminary attractive for formators, because that way the formation system becomes more organic and fruitful for the students. And we cannot also forget that there's the divine hand in formation. So no matter how we
Yeah,
logic it, no matter how we logic it, somebody will still do anyhow and become a priest, and God will use him or use him. Somebody will see the holy wedge and we will see not make it. So there's still the divine hand. So we can't forget that. Anyway, let me go to the next question. I've kept my people for longer than I planned, but man, you have so much to say. I can't leave you. I can't leave you. Um, so you have made some recommendations for formators. Do you have any recommendations for ex-seminarians? I think you have scattered it.
yeah, I've said that, but
Yeah,
well, let me start this way. I would want to advise I will start with seminarians because it's from there that you become an ex-seminarian.
yes,
So you see, the thing is this: um, very often seminarians in Nigeria. I'm talking about Nigeria because this is where I know
yes,
very well a little about. Okay, so very often seminarians in Nigeria don't think that it's possible they will leave formation. They go to formation and just believe that they will be priests, even when they're not doing well. They just feel that there's nothing else they can do than to become priests. And when they are asked to go, that becomes a problem. Parents of seminarians, and by extension priests, should know that this is a lifetime discernment. That
yeah,
you have become a priest does not mean your discernment stops. Yes, the church will tell you that your time of trying is over because the time the church is looking at you has stopped. But that doesn't mean the person has stopped looking at the church. The person continues looking at the church until the day he dies. And of course, the church continues looking at the person as well. Because your bishop can say, based on ABC, I don't think you will continue to be a priest in my diocese. I will withdraw your faculty. So even if your people are still calling you father, father, it's just the father in parentheses now. So parents of seminarians and priests need to know that their children are human beings. They have feelings, they have emotions, they have challenges, ranging from financial challenges, spiritual challenges, emotional challenges, and what have you. And they can make decisions. Somebody who is facing challenges can either give in to the challenges or overcome them. So they can leave formation either by being asked to go or on their own. They can leave the priesthood either by being asked to go or on their own, and they can stay true to the cause. So parents need to know this as well as the society. They expect people even from universities. I don't know why when somebody is expelled from the seminary, it becomes talk of the town. It's just, I don't know. So I mean, the seminarians in seminaries now should also know that this is a discernment process, something that I can either become or not. It is good to prayerfully work hard to become a priest when you are in formation, but it is also important to consider, if I don't become, what can I do? That is why I always tell students while I was teaching that take every experience you are going through in this community very serious. It's very, very serious. I remember when we were in formation, our master would say, go and learn how to play keyboard, go and learn how to do this one. Of course, sometimes it was annoying. The way he went about it was not really the best way, but that was the best he could do. Maybe that is his person. I can play the keyboard today, maybe not perfectly, but I can play because of through that instrumentality of my formator insisting that I go and play keyboard and all that. So people have learned trade especially in religious houses. People have learned trade that haven't left formation that are doing well with it. People discover their talents while they were in formation. So don't think that if I don't become a priest, I will become useless. Don't think that if my child doesn't become a priest, he is useless. Think that he's a human being. He can decide not to. And those who are forming him are also human beings. They may decide not to continue with him. So always, parents and student information, have this in your mind. And for those who have left already, brother, you are not a priest again, or you are not in the seminary again. Remove the spiritual shaitan in your mind and put it somewhere, and wear mufti and go out and hustle. You know, formation in Nigeria is very funny. You are not trained how to fend on your own. Most times they feed you, you don't pay your tuition in most stable congregations, because all these congregations that are coming up now. And please, before I forget, please, I'm begging people who want to go to formation, don't just join any congregation you hear their name. They will say Wound of Jesus, you are there. They say Mary, our mother of conception, you are there. They say this one, you are there. I mean, it doesn't, you are not helping your cause. Let me tell you, the stigma any ex-seminarian will face, you will not even want your worst enemy to face it. So why do you want to go and start something you know you are not going to end? The stigma is too, I don't know how to describe it. So don't just go and join just any congregation. Ex-seminarians will leave formation with one congregation or one diocese, and the next morning you hear that he has formed the congregation. He will be collecting money from boys. You yourself, you are a victim of this, and you are making other people victim of the same thing. They will collect money the day these boys will arrive there, they will give them shutan. And these boys will start feeling like seminarian. They want to go back to their villages, wear this shutan, so that people will know that they have arrived and now seminarian. The next morning, that congregation doesn't exist anywhere. I mean, it's so frustrating to think about it, to say the least. So we ex-seminarians, if you have left formation, leave it. Body, spirit, and mind, leave it. Move
Next
on.
question. Next question.
Yeah.
It ties down to this one. A lot of people don't know that you are married. A lot of people don't know that you have 3 kids.
Okay.
And there is something, my brother, there is something that is a big issue for ex-seminarians. You see an ex-seminarian, 10 years, he has not married. You see an ex-seminarian, he's trying to date, but he's still doing that senioribus with the girl. It is difficult for a lot of ex-seminarians to navigate relationships. How did you do it? What can you say to ex-seminarians? This issue is bigger than me. Like, I can't even conceptualize it. A lot of people, like, they will tell me that my uncle, my brother, they have not married for how many years? He's still carrying that spiritual sultan. How did you break up from that? How did you break up from it and start this? And how do you think that seminarians know how to be with women? Ex-seminarians, sorry.
Yeah, let me say this. Every ex-seminarian has 70% already advantage in any relationship he chooses to go into. The reason is, if it is conviction, we can convince anybody. Any ex-seminarian can convince anybody about it, especially when it comes to women. We can convince them anytime, anywhere. So, but this is the challenge. The spiritual shaitan. You must. It's a deliberate thing you do. You must tell yourself, yes, I've spoken with people, like I was telling you yesterday, I spoke with somebody who I left, whose classmates in the seminary were ordained in the 80s, who told me that he still carries his breviary. Sometimes he will wake up and he will feel like he wants to pray and he will pray his breviary. Sometimes 3 months later, he will not touch it again. He goes around with it in his car and all that. So if somebody who have led formation almost 40 years ago still feels that way, it's possible that you and I, our own will be daily now. We go dey feel am every day. You understand? But you have to tell yourself that I have to move on. So it's a deliberate thing. There's no particular way you will go about it. The only thing I can say is self-decision. Make that decision. I want to marry now. And then when you want to marry, lower your standard of expectation from a woman. Okay? Don't start thinking that I need a woman that is beautiful, because that is another challenge. We like beautiful women. Ex-seminarians they want to go out with the most beautiful girl around.
You have
And
broken the table.
And then some of these girls, because they are looking at you, they are not seeing prospects. They are like, I must tell you at this point, let me just tell you that I've married the best woman. Because I married my wife when I was going through the worst times financially in my life. So I can tell you that I've married the best woman. So back to what I was saying. So we have this high test. Let me put it that way. High test. We have high test when it comes to women. And those beautiful girls, we are not the only ones gunning for them. There are many other young people who are gunning for them. Some are older than us, some are more privileged than us financially. Who that girl will be thinking is better I go with this person than this person. So when you want to marry, don't be looking at the facial beauty. Be thinking of that person who will be with you when every other person is not there. Be thinking of that kind of woman that will groom your children for you. I've been here for close to 7 months now. Okay, so it's my wife that is looking after my children. Okay, so if I had married a woman that is materialistic, or in my own mind the most beautiful woman, and now that you're not there, she can be doing anything. You understand what I mean? So
Yeah.
just marry the person that you feel loves you, you love her, and you two can live together. And lower your expectation. We look for perfection in everything. We are too critical. That's why I said we are difficult people. We are very critical. It's maybe because of the formation, training, and philosophy. We are very critical. You hardly tell any seminarian anything that they will just accept and go to bed. They will find fault in it. They will somehow try to, why are you saying this? Why didn't you say it this way? And once you keep saying and doing these things, you find it difficult to stay with any woman. And let me tell you, my brother, it gets to a stage in every man's life. If you have not chosen to be a priest and you are not a priest and you are not married, there's no way you will think straight. Your thinking will be going one side, one side, one side, one side like this. Because you will be thinking like a bachelor, and you must have passed the age of bachelorhood. You should be thinking like somebody. A woman makes you think better. When I was working with the bank, I was getting a lot of money, but I didn't plan myself very well, because, in fact, as at that point, marrying was not in my head.
Mm.
Okay, so we need to put it in our mind, make conscious. It's a conscious thing. Conscious thing. It's just like overcoming anything. Yeah,
Thank
you need.
you.
Yeah.
I want to highlight one comment, ask you a last question, and because we have stayed for so much, and I never planned for this, but I couldn't even stop it. I would have loved 1 hour, but I couldn't stop it. There's so much that you're sharing. So before I highlight that comment, I want to also confess that this is very true. We are very difficult people. We are very critical. We are like, in other places you say lower your expectations, like in terms of hustling, in terms of what to do next after living. And I think it's also there, even in terms of, like you're saying, in terms of relationship with a woman. It's also there in terms of, okay, if If I had continued to want to make this page a perfect page the way I have it, I will not start this project.
Yeah.
Like, I am okay that I can make a video and I didn't say everything I want to say. I did not start from etymology. So we are too critical. Leave that thing alone. Go out and be productive. Like, start somewhere. Start with something. I really love this conversation, and I hope that other people are enjoying it. So let me highlight the comment. My brother, actually, this guy is the person that paid everything I had to, like, when I was coming to the US in terms of like raw cash. He paid everything. I stayed with him in Ghana. He's from my town. So shout out to you. Thank you for everything you've done for me. So he made a comment, no one should be sent out of seminary based on his academic abilities. And I think that is true. But I don't know if you want to say something to that. And then let me ask this question. If you want to say something, you can join two of them.
Okay.
So doctor also asked, is there any association of ex-seminarians in Nigeria with goal of helping ex-seminarians get reintegrated in the society? If no such thing exists, I think if no such thing exists, any plans? Many ex-seminarians are languishing and need urgent help. The best people to help them are your ex-seminarians. So if you have any comment
Okay.
on this,
Okay. The first, I'll go with the first one. Let me start with the first one. So,
okay.
what makes us unique is the fact that we are trained very well, especially academically. So you wouldn't want to meet an ex-seminarian who can't even express himself. Would you want to?
Of course, no.
And so why do you want the church to keep somebody who's not doing well academically?
Oh, there's a point to that.
Because
There are many gifts that are needed in the church. There are many
yes,
gifts that are needed in the church, and people will
yes.
immediately point to John Meriviani.
But
But
but but at least
even
but at
even
least
if you
but
don't
at
go
least
there,
be an average student. Don't be the
mhm.
worst. Be an average student. That is what the church is expecting.
So
Okay,
this
they won't
person
send you
was
away. They throughout my 6 or so years in formation, nobody was asked to go because he's just passing. He's just getting 50, 50, 50. You will be asked to go if you have 3 carryovers, 4 carryovers. Mind you, even though that place is affiliated to a secular university, which allows, if you send somebody away, normally if it is not the formation house, if you send somebody away whose CGP is still counting above 1, the person can sue you. But because NUC regulation states that until the person doesn't have CGP, even if it is 1, you have to leave the person to be there. Let the person
let me
keep.
let me add context to this. This guy
Mm,
is asking this because of he has experience in the Suka diocese. I don't know
mm,
if it happens in the north. And I
mm,
think this is how the seminary continues to churn out ex-seminarians. You admit more than you need, and you start looking for reasons that are sometimes baseless to send some people out. So
mm,
in the Suka diocese, as at the time that I know, I mean, during my own time and then during his time, he was 6 years ahead of me. Um, People would be picked because they got 9 A's, and other people who got maybe 5 A's and 2 credits or 4 credits, they are sent out. So
mm.
this is not a matter of failing; it's a matter of, like, they want the super excellent people. But
Okay.
the issue is,
Okay.
I
So so
think it goes.
if
Oh, sorry,
you if
continue.
you have if you have a company and you
Mm.
want to employ people, and 3 persons have applied for that job, and out of these 3, one did overall got 80, the other person 70, the other person 80, and one person has to go because you cannot employ all of them. One person has to go. What will you do? Should the person with less marks will go? Definitely. And then,
No,
mind you, you say, why should you take more than the number you need? Jesus called 12 because out of that 12, there was Judas, there was a tax collector, there was all these people. If Jesus had called only 11, how could we have had Saint what's his name again? Oh no,
No, I think I get your point. The only
yeah,
thing I'm saying is that um, the the intellect, I mean, academics is not the only criteria for being a minister. I'm studying
oh,
theology now. I'll graduate in May. Some of the things I learn here, even when I make A's, I don't need them to care for somebody in the hospital. So,
yeah.
do you know anything about my heartbeat for the poor? Do you know anything about whether I am compassionate? So, the seminary system should be able to, and this I'm saying something that is very idealistic. I know, I know it's very idealistic, but it's something that might be considered. What are the other avenues of assessing seminarians apart from the year has ended? Best graduating students, those who made A's, move on to the next. You know, but at the end of the day, we still agree that these are human beings. They can only see what they can see, and God will work with what they present. So,
So no, no. See, that's what I said. That is why I said when you are looking at something from the outside, you will not really have an understanding of what is happening inside. So students are evaluated on several grounds:
I know that.
academic,
Of course, I
morally,
know that.
spiritually. Even though there's nobody who can gauge spiritually, they are
Forget that one.
evaluated.
The only one they can gauge is the academics. All those other ones, it's not whether you came late to whether you came late to chapel is now moral issue. Or whether all those ones are like things
No,
that are.
it's beyond. It's beyond just coming late. But by the way, not keeping to time is a moral issue.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
When you
But
don't keep to time, you disrespect those who are waiting for you.
I know. I'm just saying that
It's not
these are
issue.
things that we don't keep or we don't check as much as we check academics. And because I know the pain of, or I know the experience of so many people who could have been good priests but were sent out because not because they failed though. And I know you're saying, oh, if you want three people, but why do you want three people and you admit 20 people? I don't agree with your point on that. Why do
Why
you
did
want
Jesus? Why Jesus knew that somebody would betray him? Why did he carry the person? Why?
that? No, I don't want to go into that theology, but
Okay,
what
because
no,
definitely everybody listen. The people you sometimes send away from formation in a way form other students. I don't know if you know that.
no,
The seminarians who are sometimes sent away from the seminary, they form other students. Other students become more conscious of the environment they are in. That if there are people that, like last time you were talking with Justice, you said something that there were persons who were asked to go, and you were like, oh, if this person is asked to go, what am I doing here? I can tell you I had the same experience. I had somebody who was asked to go, and I was like, so if this person is asked, and this person was asked to go even on holiday, we don't know what happened. I was not the formator then. I was not information. I mean, among the formators team, so I won't know what he did.
yeah.
And when he was asked to go, we were like, so if this person is asked to go, some of us that were very popular, people knew us. We were always everywhere we could go to. What was our fate? Do you know that that exposure had a negative impact on my own formation because I became more scared that if this
Mm.
person is asked to go, wow. So that is
See,
what happened. It can be a
see,
negative impact, it can be a positive one.
you see where I am still drawing the line. Why do you
Mm.
have to feel that way when you are information? Because somebody who you think was good was asked to go. What was he
But
reading? What is the criteria?
I was looking at him as a student. I was not looking at him as a formator. Because
That's the thing.
like I always tell
Because
you, these formators have information that we students information don't have. When you go for consultation or for evaluation with your master, there are certain things that the student master will tell you about your person that you will never tell anybody. Do you agree to that?
of
There are
course, yeah.
certain, yeah, there are certain information. I shared with you one something yesterday. Okay. There are certain information that formators have about students. So you will be seeing this person as a saint, but they have an information. Maybe that person did that thing before he joined formation, or before there's this story in with the one father shared with us that there was one elderly priest in the information. So one seminarian in theology 4 or so was very sick. So he was going to die. So they asked the priest to go and hear his confession and anoint him. So when the priest went and sat for the confession, as the guy was confessing his sin, the priest was shouting, Chineke, Jesus Christ, you did all these things in seminary. You understand that kind of thing? So there are certain things that people do. Why? There were people who you were with them information. They were doing things that if they tell you now, this was what I was doing while I was in, you will not believe it. Seriously, you will not believe it.
This is one place where I think we will not agree again, and it's okay.
No, you don't
And
need
it's
to.
okay because this
You don't need to.
I'm here
You
to
don't
hear
need
your view. I wasn't actually even intended to even have like a debate, but if there is a need for us, oh my god, he has gone out again. Okay, so if there is a need for us to just to hold it balanced, I will continue to do that. But
yeah. And
100%,
then
I want you to air
the
your
last
view. I want people
issue,
to hear you.
the last issue someone raised about either there's an association for ex-seminarian. I think there is.
Organization, yeah.
Yes, I think there is. There is one national something. I've been Nigerian ex-seminarian something. I know there is something like that. I don't belong to it, but I know there is. Either it is helping ex-seminarians. I won't know because I'm not a member. I don't know their agendas. I don't know their goals. But from my little experience, I always prefer something like if you want to help somebody, like on your page, for instance, um, you could be saying if you want to come to the US, you want to go to the UK, and you want to know what it takes, you can chat me up. Even if I don't know, I can link you with somebody, I can get the information for you, or from time to time, you'll be posting that. I prefer that kind of thing than to any association whatsoever that will be named ex-seminarian. And the reason is simple. When you go there, you can hardly have any meaningful conversation. I'm sorry, because people's views about life, about seminary, about the church are not the same. And sometimes they would want you to share in their grievance towards somebody who sometimes you don't even know or have not offended you in any way. You get? So my own thinking is we don't need we don't really need an association for ex-seminarian. What we need is a situation where you can be of help to those who can reach you. I can be of help to those who can reach me. Brother A or B can be of help. I've told you of how somebody helped me just through a phone call to come and do a job. And you must also, you are not indebted to any ex-seminarian to help them. I am not. Is something you want to do out of your free will. Nobody, no association of ex-seminarians asked you to do this. If you say any association, 5 persons, my brother, just choose 5 people from Shonstide that are ex-Shonstide um, seminarians. Ask them that you want to start a page like this and see their reaction. No, now try it.
you know,
That's why I keep saying we are difficult people, because
I
even if we
agree.
are just 3 persons, we will hardly agree. So it's better if somebody wants to help you, the person will help you, regardless of either you belong to the same association or not. They will be of help to you.
So I want to say that I know the question, I know why he's asking that question, and I see your point clearly.
Mm.
Clearly, like and also to answer Emmanuel Kelechi, doctor. Some of these things happen in clusters. So, like here in the US, we have a WhatsApp group of Schoenstatt ex-seminarians. Somebody got visa, and some people in the group just paid for his flight ticket. They don't talk. You don't know. Some of those guys are here now. Let me not call their name. Some
Yeah.
of those guys that paid somebody's flight ticket are here. Some people have done it individually. Some people have single-handedly reached out to one SMN and say, you shouldn't be in Nigeria. Like, you should be in a better place. I will walk you through the step. So some people are doing things individually, and I think I see reasons with Didacus that if we do it as an organization, Even in the seminar, we don't agree. So when we come out, we have different pains. We have different, we have different expressions of what we have gone through. So it might be difficult to have a monopoly of like goal and vision. But
Yeah.
I encourage it to continue to happen in clusters for people who have blown in quotes. Because if I blow like this, I will do that thing. For people who have blown to just go ahead and care for our brothers who are going through this misery. It is not easy, it is traumatic and it is terrible.
Very.
So I know that his question is very well needed now, but it's
Mm,
good for us to tell him because he did not go to seminary that may be difficult because of the different ways we seminarians see life, we
mm,
ex-seminarians see life. And
mm,
sometimes too, this is why it is good what Justice said in his last interview, that we make friends when we're in the seminary. We don't become antagonistic of each other, we don't fight each other because you don't know who you are going to live before, who is going to live before you if you are going to live. And even if you become a priest, some of your classmates, you call them for fundraising. You call them like your sister, your younger sister is going to a school where they are schooling already, maybe outside the country or anything. So there is always going to be connectedness. There's always going to be something that brings us together. And if we are good friends, then we can be sure that we
yeah.
benefit from that. But if we are not, cat and rat, we will never benefit from that. Even if they form organization, if, for instance, if somebody reported me for me to be expelled, and now I now get expelled, I become the president of that organization. After 3 years, they expel him. Is it me that will now sign what? So it has to go down to relationship. It has to go
Yeah.
down to us loving each other. I wish that we had that unity of mind, unity of goal to have such thing. But if we can't have it now, I know that there are things happening in clusters that people are doing, and people are also doing a lot of things individually. So, yeah, thank you for that. I never thought of that reason why it's not possible. So, I got
Mm.
it from you. I've taken my notes. Baba wisdom. Okay, we have spent so much time. Is there some last words that you have? Is there something that you really want to share? That I know there's so much about you. 3 hours will not be enough. Viewers, this guy here is an author of 3 books. Let
Yeah,
me
actually.
his praise small. He's an author. Why he was going through the whole issue of being an ex-seminarian, he was busy writing books.
Yeah.
So he wrote three. He has authored 3 books right now. I will probably put them in, type them somewhere just so that people can go find them. Are they online where people can buy?
Not yet. No, not
Okay,
yet.
okay, okay.
Not yet.
All right. When they are ready, let me know so I advertise
Yeah.
them.
Very,
So
very
he's an
soon.
author of 3 books, and
Yeah.
he's so many things in one. I just cannot narrate everything. Just tell us if you have any last words for us, and then we can end it here because it's been a long time for today.
Okay, well, three quick things. One for ex-seminarians. Please, brothers, there is life beyond the church. Don't see the church as an enemy. The church is there to support you. If sometimes when you don't behave yourself, the church sees you like an enemy and it doesn't want to associate with you. So we need to behave ourselves, have a good reputation about yourself, the way you relate with every other person, the way you relate with priests. It's key. And for the church, we are your children. We are not enemies. No matter what we become, should we become president of United States of America or Nigeria, I don't think, personally, I don't think I will start saying that bishop, they should carry him and lock him. That father, they should seize his car. I mean, I don't think there's any ex-seminarian that will really do that.
Mm.
So there may be skirmishes of mistrust, dishonesty, and and whatever, but we are still human beings. Mind you, we are human beings just the way you are human beings. We are human beings. We have our own shortcomings, which very often you are aware of, but you also have shortcomings as human beings as well. So no matter our excesses, you know us better than the society, and so you will be the first people to destroy us if you don't give us that olive of progress in life. You don't give us that bridge. So please take us as we are. When you are sending us away, don't make us feel like rejected children or a rejected child. Make us feel that you are a good child, but you are not good for this assignment. That's all. Okay. Then for the parents, you don't give birth to a demon.
Mhm.
And very often people make this decision out of ignorance that they want to become priests. So when it doesn't work out, accept them. Accept them. Don't, if you reject your child because he has refused becoming a priest or have been asked to go, who do you want him to go and stay with now? So we need to, these three things are key to me. And then the church, if it is possible, look at the maturity of the people you are admitting or the people you are ordaining, with every due respect to priests and the church as an institution.
Mm.
But I think there is need to seriously consider the maturity of our priests, especially the young ones. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk on your platform. Uh, I will always be available if there is need for me. Like we just said earlier, well, I just got here in September. So I've not been here long. So I don't know much about the system yet. I mean, the environment yet, but I can give somebody basic information if they really want to come out. They will really want to come to the UK. It's a bit expensive, but there's nothing God cannot do.
Mm.
And of course, you mustn't come out of Nigeria, go to US or UK or wherever before you be successful. You can be successful even in Nigeria.
Mhm.
So just let us keep pushing. Don't give up on life that all my classmates that were together in that priests that are driving cars, me look at me, I'm still in my father's house, I can't even feed. Try and reach out to people. And to our brother priests again, please, when somebody call you, when you see an ex-seminarian that you know, maybe you met information, just give them, no matter how tight you are, just give them listening ear. Sometimes those 10 minutes you will give them, they will save a life. Oh. You may not really give them money, but just give them time. I enjoyed, I think I'm the most favored ex-seminarian when it comes to the relationship with the priest. You know, while I was at home, priests could give me their cars to drive, go anywhere. It's not common. You know, it's not common that priests will trust an ex-seminarian, give them their cars, give me keys to their rooms. And you know, I had that kind of privilege, you know. So many of our brothers don't have that. Maybe it's lack of trust, maybe it's the way you present yourself. I don't know, whatever is the reason for it, but our brother priests, we can do better. You can do better. Our brother ex-seminarians, please, you people can do better as well. Thank you.
Wow. We are saying thank you, Didacus. Oh my God, let me compose some for you. Man, this is so good. I really appreciate it. And all I know that I have is a passion for the welfare of ex-seminarians. I do not claim to have understood all the things that exist around it. And this is why people like you enlighten me, enlighten all of us. Justice was the second to the last person I interviewed. The same person, and also Capito was the first person that like blew my mind away. I'm like, oh, so somebody can actually do well in Nigeria because having served in the NYSC, I drove Korukwe bus in Lagos. I tried. I even did fruit juice business. It did not work. So I'm like, people are saying this place is not good for people, you know. But yeah, people keep changing our perspective through this conversation. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for having, for reaching out. Like you reached out to me to do this, and I really appreciate it. And I'm hopeful that it has clarified some questions that people have. And anybody that wants to be interviewed, my email is on my page. You can write me on my WhatsApp. I am open. We just schedule it and we hit it rolling. So thank you once again, and God bless you. Let's say peace out together. You do your hand like this. You say peace out. Hello, Didacus. Hello. All right. Okay, I already lost him. All right, guys, thank you for joining. If you are still on here, I usually don't like telling people that I can receive stars in the beginning so I don't distract you. But if you can give me stars, go ahead and do that. If you cannot, I'll leave in 2 minutes. What we do is the most important thing. Stars and all that will come in future. So if you can give me stars, please do. If you cannot, it's fine. I will leave in 2 minutes. And if anybody wants to come up right now, you are free to just hit me up and I bring you. Good. Okay, Didacus is back.
Yeah, you lost me briefly.
Yeah, okay. I was telling people that if they could give me stars, that's fine. But if not, in fact, because you are back, I will just leave. So let's do peace out the way I do it. Peace out. Yeah. Okay, let's do it again. One, two, go.
Peace
Peace
out.
out. Thank you.